everyone, my name is Maura Zahra Ahmad from 11-6. In this video, I'm going to tell you a story, the lake of Danau Toba. Let's get started. A long time ago, in North Sumatra, there lived a poor young man in a valley. He had no parents, but the valley was beautiful. Anything he planted there grew wonderfully. He lived by farming and also fishing in the river near his home. One afternoon, after working hard in the fields, he went fishing in the river. But I think today was not his day. After hours of waiting, he still hadn't caught any fish. But this was never happened before. Disappointed, he pulled out the rod out of the water. But just as soon as the rod leaving the water, a fish bit it. He pulled it out and was very happy to see a little and a beautiful goldfish. He hurried home to cook the fish. He got home and put the goldfish on the kitchen table, and he ran out to get some firewoods from the garden. But when he came back, the goldfish was gone, and where it had been, there sat 3 pieces of gold. "Good evening," came a soft voice behind him. The man turned around, and then he saw a very beautiful lady with a straight braid hair down to her knees. And then he said, "Who are you, oh beautiful lady? And where did you come from?" he said. "Oh, because it seemed right she had to be magical. I was that goldfish on your table, but I am no ordinary goldfish anymore." She played with her hair, and then she smiled at him. "Those gold coins were my scales." The man looked at her and then went red again because he had never seen such a beautiful lady like her. And he was so lonely. "Oh, will you marry me, oh beautiful lady?" he said. He held his breath as he waited for the answer. He knew it was a very bold question, but in stories, men always ask a bold thing to women. But the woman laughed. She said, "I thought you would never ask. Believe me, it is such a lonely life when you are a magical fish. I've been waiting for my whole life for someone to come and put their rod in the water, if you understand me." Now, the man turned red as her hair, and then he said "Really?" And then the woman replied, "Yes, but there is one condition." Suddenly, the room felt heavier, and then her smile disappeared. She said, "You must never tell that I am a fish, understand?" He replied, "Oh, of course." The man hadn't thought of telling anyone, though. He didn't have any friends, so why would he tell anyone that his beautiful wife used to be a fish? And then he said, "But why, if I can ask?" The woman said, "Just promise me. You won't tell anyone, will you?" And then he replied, No, I promise." The woman smiled and clapped her hands. "Well, then I suppose we're married," he said, "just like that." The woman replied, "Yes, just like that." And just naturally as it began, their marriage continued. They soon found out that they had a very much similar things. Although they had been lonely before, they only needed each other to accompany each other to feel happy. Soon, they also had a son named Samosir. He grew quickly as the flowers in the ground, and at 6 years old, Samosir grew into a very strong and also a naughty boy. His mother always asked him to help her clean the house and also asked him to bring dinner to his father in the fields. Some days Samosir would do as he was told, but most of the days he shouted no and then ran off to play. One day, as usual, Samosir was being very naughty. He had refused to eat his breakfast and then he sang loudly while his mother was working, and then now he refused to give his father a dinner. "Why don't you do it?" he said. "Because I'm cooking for you." "But I don't want a dinner." "You will in an hour." "How do you know?" "Because you're a human and humans always get hungry every evening." "I won't get hungry." "You didn't eat your breakfast today. Of course you will get hungry." "See, I wasn't hungry until this morning, so I won't be needing dinner and be hungry later." Eventually, Samosir's mother convinced him to take out a box of rice and give it to his father in the field. It was a very long walk and he started to feel hungry in the middle of walking. "I guess Mom was right," he said. "Well, I'm sure Dad won't mind if I ate a few grains of his rice, isn't he?" Then he opened the box. There was a very delicious rice and a juicy hot fish in there. He ate a little of both food and then it only made him feel more hungry and wanting for more. He ate a bit more, and oh no, I've eaten all of Dad's dinner. All that was left were only the bones. Hoping his father wouldn't notice, Samosir put the bone back in the box and then wrapped it up again, continued his way. When he found his father, he handed him the box, and then when he was about to run away, the father was very hungry, so he opened the box immediately, and then he found out that there was only a bone of a fish. "Samosir!" the father shouted and ran after the boy. Samosir was fast, but his father was faster, and then he finally caught the boy. "Why were there only fish bones in the box? Did you eat my dinner?" the father said. Samosir burst into tears, crying loudly, and then he said, "No, a fox attacked me and then he ate all of the food." "Don't lie to me," the father shouted. His cheeks turned red. "I'm not lying." "Yes, you are, son of a fish," the father shouted. And without a warning, he slapped across his face. And then Samosir gasped for air, and then his mouth fell wide because his father never hit him before. "I'm not son of a fish," Samosir said while crying. It was real this time. He turned all the way back home and then he hurried to talk to his mother, and then Samosir asked her, "Mom, am I son of a fish?" He said as a joke, but the mom face turned deadly serious. "Samosir, what did you just say?" The mom turned very serious this time. "I said, am I son of a fish?" Samosir repeated his question. His mother started crying silently and then put her arms around Samosir and then said, "He has broken our promise." "What? You really mean I'm a son of a fish?" But you're not. As soon as he spoke, his mother's face started to change. It was way smoother than before, and then a light shone over it in a strange way. After picking up the box, Samosir's father thought what he said. It was a joke, but then he slapped his own son. It was a very foolish thing to do, he thought. He ran towards the house, and it was raining very hard. As soon as he came home, he saw his wife and Samosir hug each other. But then, just a lightning struck both of them, and then they disappeared. He ran inside and then looked all through the house for them, but there was a big puddle of water there. He stayed all night to look for them in the fields, and then his clothes were soaking from the rain, and then he shook with cold, but they were never found. As soon as he gave up, he came back to the house and then found all the gold coins in the house were gone. The rain stopped for weeks, and then the man fell into a deep depression. Not that it mattered, because the rain was so heavy he couldn't light a fire, and then the valley also started to flood. The man stayed in the house as long as he can, and then the rain won't stop, and finally he had to swim out to get out of the valley, and then the man was pulled down in the water and then never came back at all. Still, the rains went on and on until a beautiful valley eventually turned into a very beautiful lake named the Lake of Toba. And that's a story, the Lake of Toba, from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it and then find it interesting. See you next time. Bye bye.